Hello there, welcome back to another speed build video. And in this one, we are sort of revisiting the English style homes. This one is a Tudor home. And yeah, so if you haven't seen one of my previous builds, I did an English row house, and we're kind of revisiting an English style home, and this one is a Tudor home. So yeah. First off, we're doing the roofs. This is a little bit different than I usually do. This one actually features concave roofs, and yeah, I thought it was a little bit of fun. I looked at all the houses around the neighborhood though. None of them have concave roofs, but I thought it would be a little bit different from the builds I usually do. Anyways, so the kind of like wall paneling, I guess, is really interesting. Very characteristic of typical Tudor homes. This sort of flat facade with wood sort of decor around. And yeah, I really liked it. I used a mix of like stone and the diagonal ones, the basic ones, and then the more ornate ones. And I'm also sort of blending it into the homes around the neighborhood. So all of them, I think, use the exact same roof, tiling, and a lot of them use the like black wood panels. I actually like the original one that I had, but just to sort of match within the Windenburg neighborhood, I decided to change all of it to this black sort of paneling. And yeah, so we're matching almost exactly the homes around. So I am using the home on the left as sort of a reference. Although the home on the left is a little bit more small and little less, I guess, fancy. This one's a little bit more fun and a little bit more formal, and I really like it. I'm super excited because this is a home that I've never sort of done before. I won't say that I don't like Tudor homes, but they're not my favorite. They're a little bit dark, and this was, I guess, sort of like my first foray into Tudor style homes. And I'm actually pretty happy with the way it turned out. I think it's a good shape. It's really nice. And yeah, so additionally with the paneling, which is very characteristic of Tudor homes, something that I noticed about Tudor homes is that they sort of have on the second level I would call it like a little pop-out section, a little protrusion off of the second floor. So it's kind of funny because the first floor, in my travels throughout England, I've noticed that the first floor is very modest. Maybe not modest is the right word, but a lot of the first floor, they use kind of shorter wall heights, and then they're kind of smaller than the second floor. So the second floor, you can see it actually has like more square footage. I mean, Sims doesn't use footage, but yeah, so it has like more area, more tiles, and it's also a taller wall height. So with the bottom floor, I use the regular wall height, just like the regular wall height, and then the second floor, I use the medium wall height, and that I really liked it. I think it turns out really well. I think it looks pretty similar to an English Tudor house. Obviously, I'm not from England, but from the homes that I've seen, I feel like I would see a home like this in England. Maybe that's just me. But anyways, so we also decided to build the home on the side of the lot because I knew I wanted to include like an English garden. So I have a nice kind of shrub hedges around the sort of perimeter of the home, and then also there's like a communal lot off to the right side, so we do leave a little bit of an opening for that, and then later on we include like a little gate so you can like formally go into the home for both sides. So yeah, anyways, we're just adding a little bit of landscaping around. I wasn't sure which trees to use because I wasn't sure what kind of trees looked good with it, but I just used the home next to it for reference again, and they use this tree, so I was like, all right, let's just use the same trees. Anyways, so also a thing I wanted to talk about is the windows. So the square panel windows, I like those. I think that they're nice. Obviously, they're not that big. Tudor homes tend to be a little bit darker, and you know, not that open concept or anything. So yeah, but with the windows, I like the rectangular ones, but then there's the ones that are like, how would I say it? It's like curved windows. On the outside, like from the exterior, it looks really good, but from the interior, it just looks awful. And then I started to like cover up some of the windows because I just hated it so much. It just didn't look good, but I had to sacrifice because I thought it looked way better on the outside, and I really wanted to use them. Anyways, so here we are actually going into the foyer, and we're doing something a little bit different with sort of the quarter tile placements, like the ones that are triangles. You can actually create really cool patterns. So what I did, well, because this foyer was, or the foyer was a square essentially, I decided to mimic the square sort of the square layout with the wood panels. So I created like a square wood design on the floor, and I thought that looked really nice. The only thing though is that right now and throughout the rest of the video, it kind of looks wonky, the square. It doesn't particularly go right, but I did fix it. I think I just used the wrong, because essentially when you turn a tile, they have like 4 different sides you can turn it on, and I ended up only using, well, I thought there was only 2 because I thought the 2 that were, how do you say it, like parallel to each other were the same. It's kind of confusing, but I fixed it, the flooring in the end. And yeah, so now we're going on to the dining room. Actually, well, we already went onto the dining room. But the sort of theme of the home that I wanted to portray was a little bit of a fancy, traditional sort of home. So as you can see, it's kind of using, I mean, you have a chandelier, you have the nice button cloth chairs, and then you have a nice like fireplace. I'm using the really fancy potted plant, I guess. And then on top of the fireplace, so I put plants on there. It kind of looks a little bit like garland, like the kind of stuff that you would put on your fireplace at Christmas time, but I thought it looked good. I thought it filled out the space really nicely. And yeah, so here is where these are the windows that I just don't like from the inside. They look awful. I tried to cover a lot of them up, and that's how I covered them up. I put a curtain over it because I just couldn't deal. It just didn't look good from the inside. I mean, the outside looks really nice because it has some wood panels all around the window, and it makes it like a rectangle, and it actually fits really well with the wallpapers. But inside it just looks awful. And speaking of like the windows fitting into the wallpapers really nicely, I mean, that's not really a shocker or anything because all of these items are like from Get to Work. So basically I like to call, not Get to Work, sorry, Get Together. Get Together I like to call like the Tudor pack because a lot of the items are very, I mean, they go really well together. So a lot of these items are from Get Together, like all the windows I think are from Get Together, as well as obviously the wallpapers or like the exterior walls. And yeah, so I found that they all mix together really well. And then also, so in addition to being sort of classy and traditional, I also wanted to make it feel a little bit more modern. So I'm actually using the Spade tiles on the walls, which I think it looks really good. It's kind of weird to mix old with new, but I think it turns out pretty alright. I definitely wanted to make this feel a little bit more upscale. Like, it's a Tudor home, but it's like a converted, more modernized Tudor home. And also, so with this angle, you can kind of see that the flooring is a little bit different. So I have one floor that goes one direction and one that goes a perpendicular direction. I was just having fun with a lot of the directions to floors. So the foyer has like a square panel, square style. The kitchen and then the dining room have like one direction, and then the hallway and living room have like the other direction. And I liked it. I thought it was really cool. And yeah, so in this kitchen we have actually a lot of space, so we decided to add a little sitting breakfast nook area, only unfortunately for 3 people, but I think it works out fine. I mean, you have a huge sort of dining room for the rest of your Sims, and yeah, so it's really cool. I really like the way that the layout actually worked. Yeah, I was actually really happy with it. I thought that we would kind of struggle with the layout, but it actually turns out really nice. So it's kind of open concept, but also very closed in. Kind of like, I mean, Victorian style homes are very closed in. Everything has like specific rooms. This one, there's a lot of designated spaces, but there's a lot of like open archways, so it kind of seems like in the middle between open concept and very like closed in. And yeah, so this is the living room. The living room actually turns out to be really large, which is really nice. I mean, you have a really nicely sized living room, you have a really nicely sized kitchen, and then a dining room that fits like, what is it, 6 people. So I'm really happy with the layout. I'm actually really proud of myself. I hope that doesn't sound too boastful, but because I've never really been into Tudor homes. I've never really done one before, and I think it turned out pretty nice. Yeah, I'm really happy with the interior. I'm really happy with the exterior. The exterior, I'm like really excited about. I think it looks good. Hopefully you think it looks good as well. And yeah, so back to the living room. We have tons of space. There's lots of seating. We have a bookshelf here, and then yeah, so another thing is these, with the hallway at the back, I did want to put like a little bit more of a, or to show that they were a little bit separate rooms at one point. So what I did was add columns from get together, and yeah, so I put them on either side of the back hallway, and that sort of creates a little bit of a feeling of being closed in, but also very open concept. And yeah, so as you can see here, I'm also using a very modern sort of side table. I really wanted to make it feel like it was mixing old with the new, and I really liked it. I thought it kind of worked well. I mean, it was a little bit of a contrast using that very, very modern sort of, what is it, accent table next to very old like wood paneling, but I think it turns out really nicely. So if you're wondering about the specifications for this build, there are 3 bedrooms and unfortunately 1 bath. I completely forgot to put a bathroom on the first floor, so that's really unfortunate. Real life, that would be really, really unfortunate because you would have to like walk up a flight of stairs to go to the bathroom. But in Sims, it's not that bad. You can technically fit 5 Sims in this build, but I mean, having 1 bathroom kind of sucks though. And yeah, so there's only 1 bathroom, even though there's like 3 beds, and then the home is like decently sized, and yeah. So here's the master. The master has a really odd shape, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of, I don't know what you would call it, but a lot of like staircase kind of feeling. Like it's like a zigzag, so it feels like a staircase. And yeah, it's really weird. I mean, I do the exterior first, and then I go on to the interior, and then I realized that it was a really oddly shaped room, but I thought it kind of worked out all right, I suppose. And yeah, so we're also getting a little bit into the more modern features. So I have a kind of a gray wall at the back, and then a curtain hanging off, because again, I'm covering up the windows because I really dislike those windows. But the master looks really nice. I think it looks kind of modern. It's really big, and yeah, the only thing though, it's a weird shape. Something I also wanted to point out is the dresser. So the dresser is actually supposed to mimic like a built-in dresser underneath that little pop-out section, I guess, like that 2x1 section that pops out of the regular like walls. And yeah, I thought that was kind of nice. It felt like a good space for a built-in sort of storage unit. And yeah, so now we are getting onto the, I guess, the smallest bedroom. This I guess I designated for like a kid or a toddler. Actually, I'm really unfamiliar with how to furnish kids' bedrooms and like toddler bedrooms. So as you can see, it's like a hodgepodge of kids and toddlers. I think the bed is for kids and then the little craft table is for toddlers. I'm not that knowledgeable about like what each of the item, what like a toddler or sim or a toddler or a kid like uses. So when I was originally furnishing this room, I was like just putting whatever down, but then I realized it and then I eventually switched it. So yeah, but this is a really simple room. Even though it's the smallest room, it actually turns out to be quite large. Like you can see how much space there is. Like there's tons of play space, and I feel like obviously that's good for a kid because there's a lot of space to just sit and like play with blocks or play with toys and stuff like that. And yeah, so the upstairs layout is a little bit interesting too because it kind of goes up to a second floor landing, and then there's like a hallway on one side where the, I guess, kind of kids' bedrooms are, and then there's the side on the right, which is for the master bedroom. And yeah, I thought that was really nice. It's really nice to have like a master away from like the kids, you know, they can be noisy and stuff like that. And yeah, so this is also a really large bedroom. I guess I kind of thought that it could be a nice formal double bed bedroom, but I actually thought that it would be really cool to make it like, feel like a twin boys room. I don't really give personas to the sim families that live in my homes, but I thought this would be really good for if you have like twin, like teenage boys or something, because I thought that like two single beds looked nicely in this space. And then I'm also getting out these sort of fancier beanbag chairs. They're not beanbag chairs, obviously, but yeah, it's just sort of like a space that if your sim has like a friend over or something, they can hang out in this room. And I have 3 chairs too, because 2 are obviously for the twin boys and then one's for like a friend or something. And yeah, so also something that I skipped over is that the built-in in that bedroom. So it's really cool too because I put cabinets around that sort of section, and then I put like a desk coming out of it, and I thought that it looked really good. I think that a lot of these built-in quotation marks sort of storage spaces are really nice, and I think that they look really good. Anyways, so we are furnishing the landing section, and this one is also a little bit more modern too. We're using the same exact modern accent table, and then we're using kind of modern chairs for the landing space. Here's the bathroom, really simple, not too crazy. I did add in a window last minute, so there won't be there won't be a window in this like speed build portion, but then in the screenshots you'll see a window that goes into the bathroom. Because as you can see above the front door of the Tudor home, the front door, it kind of seems a little bit barren, but why I decided not to put a window there, like when I was furnishing the home, was because I think that like Tudor homes are a little bit darker, there's not that many windows, so I opted to use less windows instead of more, because I didn't want to get too like carried away or anything. But in the end, I decided that the windows look better, so I added in a window later on. And yeah, so we are doing the garden, really simple garden. There's not too much stuff going on. We have like a bird bath, and then we actually moved the bird bath over and then put a fountain there instead. And yeah, so also something I want to point out, sorry if this video, we're at the end of the video kind of now, but sorry if this video is very like fast moving and maybe a little bit dizzying. I ended up having to speed this up like double the speed that I usually take it at, just because I wanted to make this a little bit shorter. I know my videos are getting really long nowadays, so I wanted to make it slightly more manageable in terms of time. And yeah, so here's the screenshots. I think they look really good. I'm actually really happy with the way this turned out. It's actually making me really want to do more Tudor homes. And Windenburg is filled with homes that look like this, so I am super excited to do more of these. Yeah, so we have the daytime, we have the nighttime. If you saw that last daytime photo, I love Windenburg. I've never noticed how there's like mountains on the back. It just looks really cool. So yeah, Windenburg is a really beautiful world. And yeah, so now we're bouncing back to daytime because I wanna show a little bit more of the garden that you can see in. And then yeah, so here's the foyer. We did fix up the flooring a little bit. It might still be a little bit off, but that was sort of the best I could do. We have the living room, and it's kind of nice. We have a lot of like built-in storage units. So the TV entertainment section is also like a built-in. But yeah, very clean, very nice and open. This is sort of a back hallway, and then the back hallway can get into like the kitchen and the living room. Here we have the kitchen that's a little bit more modern, a little bit more upgraded. And yeah, I think it looks really good. And then we have a really formal living room, which kind of has a weird mixture of colors, but it's all right. And yeah, so we have the landing area, we have the master bedroom. Yeah, it features a lot of those really tall walls. And yeah, a little bit more modern. We have the bathroom. Oh, in the screenshots we have the windows, but in the video portion we don't. Here's the kids' bedroom, or wait, toddler's bedroom. It's a toddler's bedroom, but there's like a regular desk for like kids or something. And then here we have the sort of twin boys' bedroom. So yeah, I have a lot of movie posters on the walls, just maybe because they're into movies. And we just have a couple of floor plans, as I usually do. I'm getting way better at including floor plans, because I used to be super bad at them. And then we just have one last final screenshot with the cool mountains in the back, and that's it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye!